Hello and welcome to Topham Chats, the show where I chat to various members of the Rooster Teeth community. This week my guest is Kiwi. Hey Kiwi, how's it going?
Hey, doing all right.
Excellent. So let's start as we always start. Rooster Teeth or Achievement Hunter?
I feel like that question is increasingly difficult to answer. They are so different now. But I think I'm still a hardcore Rooster Teeth fan. I watch Achievement Hunter all the time, but Rooster Teeth just keeps me coming back for more.
Yep, it seems that way for me as well, that it's becoming increasingly difficult to tell the difference between the two, in terms of quality-wise and how much I could do without one or the other. And yeah, it's one of those hard decisions that I feel like I'm always facing when I'm trying to make that decision. But it always, for me, goes to Rooster Teeth. So which of the Rooster Teeth productions is your favourite one, should you have one?
Um, I'm not really, I know a whole bunch of people are going to hate me for this, but I'm not really a big Ruby fan. I watch it, I like it, but I'm not big into Ruby. I love Red versus Blue. That's what kind of got me started in Rooster Teeth, and I still watch it religiously. But I think my favorite would probably be the shorts. They're absolutely hilarious, and I'm so glad they came back with a new season after Laser Team's campaign.
Cool. So I guess you saw the one that came out. Well, we're recording this on the Saturday, so it came out on the Friday. The iPhone one.
Yeah, and that's complete bullshit. Who cares if everybody has green names or blue names or whatever? That sucks.
I think it's just a funny concept. I have absolutely no idea because I don't use an iPhone, so I've no idea about that.
I don't either. Go non-iPhone people.
I know,
You guys
right?
rock.
We're the best.
That's right.
Cool. So how did you discover Rooster Teeth? Was it through just a random series on YouTube, or did you find Red versus Blue and be like, oh, where did this come from?
I actually had some friends in college that watched it, and when I would go into their room, they'd be laughing hysterically at their computer screen. I'd be like, okay, at some point I need to figure out what this is. And so they sat me down in front of a computer and started episode 1, season 1, and went through, at that point, let's see, that was probably 2007, 2008. So, I mean, we didn't quite have as much as we have now, but I watched pretty much everything and just got addicted. And then it was only recently that I decided to join the community and sign up for a profile. I've only been on for like 2 years, but listening for quite some time.
Cool. So let's go on Red versus Blue. Which of the seasons has been your favourite, and do you like the shift that they've had in the animation to have more action in it, or do you prefer the more machinima-oriented series?
I kind of like both. I like the jokes they had in just the straight machinima. I really liked sort of the interactions they had, but at the same time, the fight with Tex against the Reds and the Blues was just absolutely amazing. I can't live without that fight scene. So I like a mix. They've really had a lot of action lately, and I'd like to see some of the goofing around and return to some of the funny stuff, but obviously the storyline and all the plot is very interesting, and it's fun to watch, and it's really good. But I kind of like a mix of both.
Cool. I'm personally glad that season 11 was pretty much purely machinima, which for me made me very happy. I know a lot of people were like, "Oh, there's no action in it," but well, there was action in it. What I mean is more the animated action, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So the Rooster Teeth community, you joined the site about 2 years ago. What prompted you to join it, and since you joined it, how do you interact with it? Do you comment on people's journals? Do you go into the forums? Do you use chat?
I do everything. So I started 2 years ago. I just decided, it started with I wanted to comment on one of the videos, which I think is how a lot of people get started. They're like, oh my gosh, I need to make this comment, which, in retrospect is like, well, that was a stupid comment to make. But I did sign up for profile, and then about 6 months went by, and I wasn't really using it that much. I was commenting on journals and making friends, and that was about it. And I decided, well, if I'm going to stick with this, I need to have some sort of target and some sort of goal to get to. So I decided that if by my 1 year anniversary I had a certain level of friends and I was interacting on the site and everything, that I would sign up for a sponsorship and I'd keep it legit. And I did. I made my goals, and at that point, Ladies of Rooster Teeth was maybe 4 or 5 months old, and I was interacting pretty much daily on Ladies of Rooster Teeth and in forums, and not so much chat. That's only sort of been a recent thing, but mostly journals and interacting with friends and things like that.
Ah, cool. So,
Yeah.
yeah, you said about Ladies of Rooster Teeth. Why don't you tell us a bit about that group and where it's come from, where it's going, and yeah, just generally things
Yeah.
about it.
So when I joined, most of the people that I was talking to were men, obviously, because that's, the largest. I think someone threw out the statistic there's like 8% of women on Rooster Teeth, which I don't know if that's true or
It
not,
doesn't
but
seem correct because on
that's
the
really low.
Alexa rankings, the women are overrepresented on the Rooster Teeth site
That's
compared
very
to men.
true. That is very
So
true.
they're overrepresented. Whether that means they're higher in terms of actual numbers, I don't know. But
Yeah.
it does suggest that there are more female users in the Rooster Teeth community than typically there are in other online communities.
Yeah. So, in being what I felt was one of the few women on the site, because most of the people I was interacting to were men, I decided, well, I need to find check out these groups and see if there's any with women of Rooster Teeth.
Mm-hmm.
And so I found an old group called Girls of Rooster Teeth, and they hadn't been active literally for a year and a half. No one had posted in any of the group forums. The news page was over a year old, so I messaged the admins, and I still haven't gotten a response 2 years later, so I don't think they're active at all. And so I decided that I would start a new group of active users who could actually interact with each other and have game nights and all kinds of fun stuff to do together. And so I started Ladies of Rooster Teeth because I named it Ladies of Rooster Teeth because I was in sort of women's leadership in college, and we were always told, don't call them girls, don't call them girls. You have to call them ladies, or you have to call them women. So I was like, all right, fine, Ladies of Rooster Teeth instead of Girls of Rooster Teeth, and that's basically just how that all sort of started. And then I brought on Penny Panda from the site. She was
Mm-hmm.
very active, and she was still in college at the time, and so we did a lot of awesome stuff. And then I brought on Mew Mix. Um, she was very active and promising on the site, so the three of us ran it for quite some time, and then had a bit of a shift of adminship, and now we have Lilybug Love and Alice Munden and Miriam with some numbers behind her name as current admins. And I think we're doing a lot of fun stuff. We're having movie nights and game nights and all kinds of awesome things. And it's not just women. There's men in the group too, and there's guys that interact with us all the time. So it's really just a whole bunch of people getting together and having fun.
Ah, cool. So.
Yeah.
I like the idea of people getting together and having fun and playing games together. Do you do
Absolutely.
anything, I guess, locally? I don't know about the local geography near where you are, whether you're close to a city, close to many other cities. But do you go to local community meetups, is what I guess I'm saying.
Yeah, I live in outside of Kansas City, and there isn't a local Kansas City group. The closest one is Rooster Teeth Midwesterners, and that's basically a whole bunch of states. It's Missouri, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, Kansas, Nebraska, a whole bunch of Midwest states. And so the last meetup they had was in St. Louis, which, even though it's in my state, it's a solid 4-hour drive for me.
Mm-hmm.
So I haven't gone to any of those meetups. The only meetup I've ever been to really is RTX, and I don't know if that counts as a meetup per se.
Oh, it does, but that's a community at large kind of thing. But
Enormous meetup.
yeah, how was RTX for you?
Oh, it was so much fun. It was amazing just getting to meet all the people that I had been interacting with for so long. And it was funny the day that I got into Austin, and I was staying in the Firehouse Hostel with a bunch of people, and I kind of knew who were the other people in the room were. But I got to the room and I was by myself and putting stuff up, and then the door opened and in comes just uh, pretty much the rest of the room, and I literally just started naming them off because I knew them on the site, I knew them with all the pictures and journals and interactions that we'd had together, and I was just like, well, I know each of you. Even though we've never met, it's such an amazing experience.
Yeah, I love, like, I've been to a few meetups recently, and like I just love meeting up with people because there's that familiarity with someone you haven't necessarily met yet, but
Yeah.
you can interact with them and their quirks already, so to speak, and it's just great to be like, oh yeah, fun. Like on the Thursday before I was at a convention like a week ago or so, I was playing on Thursday Halo ODST with Ash, and we had a blast there. And then 2 days later, we were at this convention. It's like, yes, we're together. This is awesome. So yeah, like
I know him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh, it was a lot of fun.
It's amazing.
What did I want to say? Oh, there was someone on the site that I don't know whether he'd messaged me or we were in a chat together, and he said about starting up a group in Kansas and in Kansas City, and I told him to speak to you, and I don't know whether he has or not, but I was like, definitely start messaging people to try and get something happening, because it does take a while to build up a local community, especially when
really
does. Want to get recognized as well. So yeah, it's one of those things that's
yeah, absolutely. If you know who that is, have him message me, because I'm very interested in starting up something closer to Kansas City.
Yeah, I told him to, but I can't remember who it was or when that interaction was or anything. So I should try and hunt that down, see if that's in messages or anything. But anyway, let's move on to something else. You are an admin, like I am, for the Scientists of RT group.
Yeah.
Tell us a bit about what you do scientific-wise, and then I guess we'll get into talking about the group kind of stuff.
All right. So I do consider myself a scientist. I have a degree in geology, a bachelor's of science in geology, and a bachelor's of science in education in biology. So with those 2 degrees together, I'm an environmental scientist for a law firm. And there aren't a whole lot of us. As far as I know, most law firms don't hire scientists very easily. But we're an environmental law firm. We deal with property remediation, things like that. So when they need someone who knows their stuff about science, they come to people like me.
Ah, cool. So I guess you get a lot of opportunities to apply your knowledge, but do you get a lot of opportunities to practice or do a practical sort of approach to the things that you've learned?
Not so much as far as following, scientific procedures or discovering things sort of on my own. I'm more of a supervisor than I am an actual practicing scientist.
Okay, fair enough. It's just a question I really wanted to find out, actually. So cool. Let's go back to the Scientists of RT group.
Yeah.
What kind of things do you do in the group? I know that I don't do very much, but I'm looking to do more now that Sam's back around.
Yeah, so we don't really have anything set in stone as far as who does what. Right now we're just kind of loose and letting people sort of get their feelers out and see what they do. I do run sort of the chat during the podcast, and one of the fun things about Scientists of Rooster Teeth is that we critique the science brought up on the podcast. So
Can
I'll
we
be in
put
the
science
chat.
that you're saying in quotation marks, please?
Um, the science quote unquote that they talk about isn't quite the same science that I know and love.
Yeah.
Um, I'll be chatting just about every podcast in Scientists of RT chat room on Rooster Teeth, and then we also have a Scientists of Rooster Teeth Twitter that we use to try and dispel scientific misconceptions as much as we can. It's not always easy. I had a nice discussion last week about mold with a guy because of Jack's whole house with mold issues.
Mm-hmm.
It's not as scary as people think, I promise. But it's fun to talk about stuff like that.
Cool. So let's step away from that, I guess, and talk about the crafty things that you do. You run a series on YouTube called Craft Nerdy with Me. I know of it because you had joined the community-based network, which has dissolved effectively for now, and you were doing it on there, but now you're doing it personally, but you might not be able to do it for a while. But yeah, can you tell us a bit about that?
So it's a crafting series where basically I make something that that would appeal to a nerd, and I don't just make it myself. I show people how to make it. So the first episode that I put out was how to make earrings that were. I made ones that were Achievement Hunter logo earrings out of polymer clay, and I showed people how to form the clay and put it on the earrings to make them work, and just basically how to do all the simple stuff for making this nerdy craft. And so each week I try and put out a video that's different, unique, and I'll touch on a lot of nerd fandoms. I'll touch on a lot of science, things like that. So the next one that I'm putting out will be a lamp made of books. So that one's going to be kind of fun. But I haven't been able to record for a while. I had a foundation leak that wiped out half of my craft room, so I need to fix that first, and then I'll finish filming and start putting them out one by one again.
Cool.
But I usually release them middle of the week when I start releasing them again.
Fair enough. So, how did you get into crafting things? Were you just like, have you been doing it for a long time?
Yeah, I have been crafting probably my entire life. I'm the kind of kid that when the teacher gave us macaroni and a piece of paper, I would make a sculpture instead of gluing the macaroni to the piece of paper. So I just start making things, and I've always been the type of person that, I can make that. I don't need to buy that. I can make that. So I really wanted to kind of share that sort of ingenuity with other people, because a lot of the things that people see on Etsy or eBay or Craigslist, whatever you go to buy stuff, a lot of the crafted things are really easy to make. It just looks daunting because they look so good, but it's easy to make things look good.
Cool. So I'm just curious now, because you're like, I like making things. Do you like watching other people make things? And because you like science, I'm actually really curious, do you like Mythbusters?
I love Mythbusters.
Excellent.
And that was actually one of the things I was trying to think of with Scientists of Rooster Teeth. Like, a couple weeks ago on the podcast, they were talking about the flammability of certain types of personal lubricants. And I thought, you know what? That would be a hilarious experiment to do.
Yes, it would.
Testing the flammability of personal lubricants like oil-based and water-based, be hilarious. So maybe on the horizon somewhere out there we'll have some fun experiments.
Fair enough. At work we've got some Flashpoint equipment, so Like, it wouldn't be very difficult for like me to do should it work, but it doesn't work at the moment. So, but
Ridiculous.
yeah. Anyway, I've got equipment to do that, so it's like, oh, this is fascinating.
Oh, you're getting excited.
I know, right? I'm jumping up and down and all this stuff. So yeah. Anyway, let's move on to something I guess that unites the whole of the Rooster Teeth community mostly. Games. What kind of games do you play? What games do you enjoy? The video that will be under this was us playing Minecraft earlier.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I love Minecraft. And another thing about like making things is, Minecraft just gives you a whole world to make things. So I think Minecraft was built for me. I like creating things. But I do like Minecraft, but I also kind of like RPGs mostly. I'm playing the crap out of Diablo 3 right now.
Oh, I so want Diablo 3, but I just can't afford it.
So much fun.
I'm just like,
so much fun.
But I'm
playing it on, But you'd probably play it on PC, wouldn't you?
I don't have a PC. I've only got my laptop, and I can only play Minecraft on that. So I'm just like, yeah.
Okay, so yeah. And I play on Xbox 360. I'm not in Xbox One yet, but
I wish I was though. But
eventually.
yeah, I'm still on 360 too. God.
Everyone's raving about all the Xbox One games and all the fun stuff, and I'm just sitting here on my 360. Making a crafting table.
It's still like perfectly fine and it works. So I'm just like, I might not have the money right now, but even if I did have the money, I probably would put it off until I'm completely done with my 360.
Yeah, which will be never. So.
Yeah, I know, but I think at one point I will just need to be like, I've got to take the step.
Yeah. So I'm probably gonna get an Xbox One around the time the Master Chief Collection comes out, because that is absolutely amazing. I do love Halo, and I am so excited for the Master Chief Collection.
It looks so good, and I haven't played Halo 1 or 2, so I'm like, I get to play those games.
Oh, it's the best. And I love, like, you may not understand, but the ability to, because one of the Halos you play as Master Chief and the Arbiter.
Yeah.
And the disconnect, if you go from level to level to level, it's always hard to adjust. Well, I was just playing Master Chief, now I'm playing the Arbiter. But one of the functions in Master Chief Collection is that you'll be able to play the Arbiter series all the way through, and then you'll be able to play Master Chief series all the way through, and that is just so appealing to my OCD nature.
Ah, cool. Yeah, so you won't be switching between the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Which RPGs do you play aside from Diablo 3? You said you're a fan of them. I'm just curious now.
Sort of. I don't have a whole lot actually on the current gen. I have some of the ones from, and I guess current gen is 360 for me.
Yeah, same here.
Next gen is Xbox One, but I do have a bunch on regular Xbox, and then a couple racing games. I'm more of a in-person racer. I have never really been into racing games, but I have a couple there too.
Ah, cool. Right, now would be the perfect time in the show for me to ask you to ask me a question, should you have one in your head.
And I'm going to put this out there. I was going to ask you, why haven't you asked these questions yourself? And then you go and record yourself answering these questions. So, for stealing my question, I'm going to ask, so, Mr. Topham.
Yes.
What kind of things do you like in a girl? And what kind of things do you think girls like in a guy? You have to answer an uncomfortable one.
Yeah, I know. I guess I like. Well, I think I would like someone who's independent and wouldn't need to constantly be around me, because I like being on my own from time to time, pretty much consistently.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so hopefully someone that's okay with catching up with me once a week, maybe. But still,
wow, that is really independent.
That is really separate from reality. Maybe a bit more, maybe. I might be able to handle it. But I'm a busy person. But I'm sure I could find more time. And what do I think?
Girls liking a guy.
Just a decent personality, because looks are irrelevant. I don't think there's anything to looks in anyone, really.
All right.
But yeah, just a personality that gels well with you. Like, I was listening to a podcast the other week where they said they were like the whole idea that two people are perfect for another is massively rare, because it just inherently is. But the fact that one person could be perfect for another person and then be together, but the person that the first person is perfect for might not be perfect for who the second person is. And
I see what you're saying.
that to me is really interesting. But to me, it just I just get like I get too much. I get caught too much up in the thoughts behind everything. So for me, it's a bit. It's all a bit weird. Just as long as I were to get along with someone and someone were to get along with me, I'd be perfectly happy with that. And I absolutely despise arguments, and my parents have been a bit at each other's throats recently. So I'm just like, that really it really scares me. So I wouldn't be able to deal with that on a consistent basis with anyone, which is why I wouldn't want to be around someone like so consistently. And like when I'm at work in a lab, you're not supposed to be really working on your own that much. But I have to have days where I don't work with anyone, because I just can't handle like everyone being like at each other, and I'm just like, oh god, it scares me, and I have to run away. And if there's like tempers flare, I have to leave, and it's just like it's all these things that I'm just like, oh, I can't deal with this, I better run away. So I'm just like, yeah,
go away.
Anyway,
that's very different than my lab. The lab that I used to work in, I mean, you were pretty much expected to be able to do everything on your own, and I was almost never in the lab with someone else. So that's funny that our labs are so different.
Well, like, I just believe that I shouldn't be doing an experiment on my own, nor I shouldn't be mixing chemicals on my own like, anywhere, just because, like, in our lab, because we have gases and things like that, like, just, not even just gases to use, just gas lines nearby. If anything were to go wrong with them, then if you don't get found, if something does go wrong and you don't get found for an hour, then there can be something seriously wrong, because in my lab dealing with all the chemicals, things can be horrible. And like if we're working alone, because we have 5 labs and there's 4 of us, so there's so it's quite difficult. The fact that if we are working alone, which is frequently, we need to check in every hour, just to make sure that we know we're there, unless there's people working with us. So it's it's all just those kind of things. But anyway, I kind of got distracted from the original question, but I feel I answered it at some point.
I'll accept it.
Cool.
So cerebral.
Yeah, I suppose. Cool. Well, let's wrap it up there, but I would like you to promote yourself. Where can we find you on YouTube, Twitter, and on the Rooster Teeth site, your Kiwi? So that'll be everywhere anyway. So
pretty much. I'm Kiwi pretty much everywhere. My gamer tag is K1W1KC. Anyone from Rooster Teeth can friend me. Just make sure that you tell me you're from Rooster Teeth and not just some random person trying to hack my system. But I'm pretty much Kiwi everywhere. Craft Nerdy with me on YouTube. I don't have a unique web address for that yet. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I'm getting there. But it's just Craft Nerdy with me. And then Twitter, I'm KiwiKC, K1W1KC. And absolutely follow Scientists of Rooster Teeth and Ladies of Rooster Teeth on Twitter. Do a whole bunch of fun and funny stuff on there.
And join the groups on Rooster Teeth as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, and one of the beautiful things about both groups is that we're very open. Like Scientists of Rooster Teeth, you just have to like science. You don't even have to, be a scientist or have a degree or anything like that. It's just, if you like science, feel free to join and chat right along with us.
Yeah, it's they're fantastic I say they're fantastic groups. I haven't actually checked out the Ladies of RT group just because
Yeah.
I'm not a lady. So yeah, cool. Right, let's wrap it up there. Thank you very much, Kiwi, for being my guest.
Oh, thanks for having me.
No problem, and thank you for listening. Goodbye.